I'm at the market in Chernihiv, and that's the place where your penny is worth a buck. Let's see what they have on offer. I'm looking for maybe some souvenirs, some interesting things to take home from Ukraine. Each market has a lot of flowers, obviously. It's a real flower culture. Flowers are used for everything, from funerals to obviously more romantic goals. And the flower stores are mostly open until late at night, or some even 24 hours. And you mostly find them next to the big boulevards, for example, or the bus stops. Mainly the reason is that, what did a person tell me once? At night you might need flowers to make up for something. So that's why they should be available. Which is funny. Lots of interesting, bit old-fashioned clothes. Sunglasses. Pots and pans. Photo stores where you can take your mug shots. Suitcases, because really it's a traveling nation with long distances and many people living abroad. So you find the flowers at the edge, and then you get to the clothes section. And very often you find the food section somewhere inside, where it's more cool or more warm depending on the season, and the produce is protected. It's my first time at this market, so I don't know in which building you can find what. Cigarettes, which are available 24 hours in any Eastern European nation, just like the booze. More interesting and colorful fashion and hats. Here we come to a more central avenue of the market, which has food, called kvass. I think I'll have myself a kvass, by the way, which is, I don't know what it's made of exactly, but it doesn't have alcohol, even though it tastes a bit like dark beer. Probably of the same substances, but a different process on how it's made. But you'd have to look it up on Google. It's KVAS. Certainly a nice beverage, especially in summer when it's extremely hot like it's now, and humid on the plains of Ukraine. It's unbearably hot already, and it's just the end of May. So let's get ourselves a kvass, which will set me back a big one, which is maybe nearly half a liter. Will set me back on 13 grivnas, which is half a euro, maybe even less, maybe 30-40 cents. So let's try that. Here you can find it. It's on draft, so nice and cool. Здравствуйте. Большой квас, пожалуйста. It's on draft. Спасибо. You can see how big it is. Спасибо большое. The change is 7 hryvnias. До свидания. And here you see it. Looks a bit like a Coke. It doesn't really have foam on top of it. And it's like having a dark beer but without alcohol. Just delicious. Even though it tastes a bit more breadish. I think you just have to come to one of the Baltic states, Ukraine, Belarus or Russia to try it, because on the Balkans. Haven't really seen it on offer, except for maybe in bottles in the Russian oriented stores. But really you'd have to try a draft and in the country itself for the complete experience, preferably on a market or a beach, and just makes the picture complete. I certainly love it. There's always a lot going on the Ukrainian markets. Farmers coming in, selling their fresh strawberries, which are 25 hryvnias for 550 grams, which is also less than €1. Just a very fair price for these delicious and bio products, because everything is bio. It comes from the people's gardens, you know. See a lot of tomatoes here. Bananas obviously imported. Herbs, what's this? Maybe some mint, spinach, very good spinach, I believe. Cucumbers, small ones. The stranger tomato looks, the better it tastes up there in Eastern Europe. They have some very peculiar shapes and forms, but that just makes them all the more better. Let's see the cherries. I've already tried the cherries yesterday and they were delicious. It's supposed to be cherry season in summer, but here maybe it's been warm enough for them to develop a sweet taste already. Delicious beverage. Here you find some meat, some sausages. Not refrigerated, but that's just how it is here in the Ukrainian markets. More vegetables and some cheeses. Here you find some refrigerated meats and some that are not. These are oils, probably homemade oils. Delicious strawberries. You know, they have everything for a delicious salad. It's a huge market. I didn't expect this to be so big. Here you find the woodwork, brooms, baskets, all handmade, and the covered vegetable section. It's extraordinarily hot. Some tools. Oh, and this inside must be sorry, the meat and fish section. You can mostly see it by these things covering the door. Yeah, it's cheeses. Let's go and see. It smells like a very strong goat cheese. Yeah, and this is it. A lot of cheese, yogurts, eggs. Maybe some omelets and pans, bread, lots of honey, and we find some chicken and meat here. More meat, fish, everything that you can think of. Chicken hanging out drying. Straight back into time, right? Certainly an experience seeing a Ukrainian market in full shape, and you find it in every town. You know, in the smaller towns you'll find them on the streets, near the stations. You know, no covered holes, but you should definitely visit one in Kiev because every neighborhood has them, and any city has at least one or several. And you just see interesting things happening around you.
Машина ж дальше стоит.
Давайте попробуем, будем это что-то делать. Я вам не против.
Ukraine is alive and kicking, with people surviving. I think I'm walking too far now, let's head back. Some old cars, ladas. Trying to find a store for watches. I'm looking for a new watch for a while already. So who knows what I find here. And big cars. A lot of contrast in this country.
Только сказал, еще ж не сделал.
Я думаю, если он пообещал, значит...
А чтоб нам другие мало обещали.
It's the hole again. Covered market. Cauliflower, potatoes. Must all be delicious. You'd struggle to find better vegetable anywhere in Europe, I believe. The Balkans has good ones, but Ukraine does too. I believe 3/4 of the country is arable, which means it's very fertile soil to grow anything you want, any crop you want. Just perfect soil, and that's also why it's such a disputed territory, the country of Ukraine. There's been a lot of fights over it, and there still are, as you know. I already saw in the museum in Kiev that Nazi Germany said that Ukraine is so attractive because of its fertile soil, which is 74% of the country, I believe. So you can imagine, for the last few thousands of years, there's been fights over it. On both sides of the Dnieper or the Dnipro River. Fishing equipment. And it wouldn't be Eastern Europe if there wasn't some strange tower hovering up out of nowhere. Gardening equipment.
Не були 12.
A lot of pots and pans. Clothing. And as always, when it's steaming hot, there's someone selling fur or just winter clothes. I wonder how these people make a living now, because I wouldn't even think of buying woolen sandals now or anything of the sort. Maybe a nice Ukrainian shirt with a pattern. I would like that. But I just need to stumble upon one. Maybe in one of these alleys. These markets are really a sort of micro-economy on their own. Like a small city inside a city. And it's the case all over Eastern Europe. They're a lot bigger than in the West, for example. Lots of small business owners. People doing this for, I guess, all their lives. But why not? An easy but fulfilling life if you have a nice family beside it. Or I wouldn't say it's easy at all. That's not fair, because they probably make a few bucks a day. And life is extraordinarily hard, but yeah, it is what it is. Still, I can imagine once you're used to this, you like doing it, and it's in your blood, I would say, being a tradesman. Lots of dresses. Bags. And there's always a church nearby, which is right there on the background. So I might visit that too. Still, I haven't seen a store for watches, but who knows if I ever find one here. Maybe in Kiev. We have some jewelry. Yeah, I've basically covered most of the market now. So either way, now you've seen what it looks like, and basically it's the same in all cities. So you really should visit one. Get some sense of the Ukrainian life or Eastern European life, and what's going on with these people. Here you buy sweets measured by weight, probably. Bikes. Perfume bars, which are also typically Eastern European, where you fill a bottle with perfume, and then you pay for the amount of milliliters. Here I see 1 milliliter for 6 hryvnias, which, well, it's next to nothing. So you can just try and find a nice perfume, see if you like it, and buy a few milliliters, maybe a few hundred. So either way, that's the general gist of the markets. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.